Hey there, welcome back to No Pants Profits. My name's Richard, still sitting here with No Pants and finally back to making profits. It is Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm recording this video right now. And I got a date, kind of what's been going on is, yesterday, the 28th, was when Tesla announced they're going to explore with their shareholders a potential stock split yet again. Oh yes, we love Tesla. I love Tesla. You love Tesla. Everyone watching this loves Tesla. But there's hundreds of videos on Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. I'm sitting with 550 shares of Tesla, but I'm dropping two videos today. I don't know which one you may be seeing first because they're both going to drop at the same time. It'll be kind of interesting. One of the other video I'm going to drop, you're watching about Ford right now, which, colloquially was always known as Ford stands for Found on Road Dead. But, we're looking at Ford and specifically on their electrified future, as well as ChargePoint. So if you haven't seen the ChargePoint video yet, watch it after the Ford video. If you've seen the Ford video already, well, you couldn't because we're talking about it right now. Go check out the ChargePoint video. But today, we're going to talk about Ford and why it could be a better option than Tesla. And option is the real big word here because, Tesla, I've got shares. I've got a lot of shares in Tesla. I know probably a lot of you watching have been Elon believers for a while, and trust me, I am not causing a mob. I'm not telling you to sell your Tesla. But understand, Tesla can't own everything, so there might be better options on making money. Again, don't sell your Tesla. No angry mobs here. You're not going to get an angry mob from me. But I want to talk about Ford. Now, Ford is Americana. Ford is an American automaker. If we go to Ford's website, you're like, hey, look, they got the Bronco. OJ got away in that. That's about as far as we're going to go. But you'll see Ford's even gone so far as to add up on the top of their screen, of their website, they literally have an electrified section now. And I think other than Tesla, I think in the U.S. automaker world, which whether we like it or not, we're in a political system right now that would rather you buy a U.S. auto, and I do think that there will be things coming for U.S.-made electric vehicles that won't exist for non-U.S. electric vehicles. You've got the most options, even more than Tesla, to be honest with you now. I don't know if you can get your hands on them, but, you can't get your hands on Teslas either. You've got more than Tesla. You've got a Maverick, which is a hybrid. You got the Escape, which is a hybrid, and a plug-in hybrid, which is a little bit different. It's like an electric car, but you can actually plug it in using a charge point. You've got your E-Transit. You've got your Mustang Mach-E, which is what I personally have. I personally have a Mustang Mach-E. This is my my little Ford baby, and it didn't come down to a matter of price. I didn't like any of the Teslas that existed. And this is kind of like in between a Model S and a Model Y. In size. It's like a 3. It's a little bit bigger than, not a 3, it's a little bit bigger than a Y, but it's kind of like if an S and a Y had a baby, but were actually made from a real car manufacturer. And, I want to talk about this. I will tell you, I also have a couple orders in. A couple is underselling it. I have a couple orders in for both the Cybertruck as well as for the Tesla truck. So I have a couple orders in for both of them. But I think it's kind of interesting because Ford is kind of going all in on electric vehicles, and I think it's an interesting option to take a look at. But the main one, the main electric vehicle you can actually get right now is the Mustang Mach-E. So I want to kind of compare that to what Tesla's got, and I can tell you the fit and finish. I've rented, and I've never really owned a Tesla, but I've long-term rented a Tesla. I've got friends that have Teslas, and I will tell you, for a car, the Mustang Mach-E is a significantly better car than a Tesla is. I'll take anybody on a fight with that. The only exception would be the Plaid Edition Model S. I might give that a better car, or the top of the line Model X. But also the pricing difference is very obvious between them. So for a car, meaning a car, it's the best. Now I will tell you, like I said, I have an F-150 Lightning order, and I actually wound up getting the Mustang Mach-E after my F-150 Lightning order was delayed due to supply constraints. Personally, I don't believe that. What I think Ford is doing, we'll get into the Mustang Mach-E in a minute, what I think Ford is doing is they are about to hose their dealers hard. They're never going to come out and say this, but I think their electric cars are going to go direct to consumers, just like Teslas do. They'll keep around enough of their dealers for service, and eventually, believe it or not, one of the companies that started the dealership model is going to watch the dealership model fizzle away. So And you know what that means for shareholders? That's more profit, because when the main company's making the money, it's all good. So the F-150 is the F-150 Lightning, which is the electric F-150, is basically vaporware, just like the Tesla truck is. It doesn't exist. I had order number 3 in the South Florida area, and they told me I got to wait another year because they've made all they're going to make. 2 in the South Florida area. But so this is the equivalent to a Tesla that is made by Ford. And these are sitting at a, what is that charger? Those chargers are fake. Those chargers right there, they're not real. They're fake. Mustang Shunt Performance Edition EP estimate 260 miles. And you can see where we're starting. Order now. It looks like a car. It doesn't look like a spaceship. Both on the inside and the outside, it looks like a car. And I will kind of price and give you an idea on pricing. Let me see how this works. What is this one? Well, I can't, due to high demand, so they're not available for order. So I actually have a 2021 California Route 1 is what I have. Car and Driver 2021 EV of the year. And there's a lot of controversy. I will tell you, this on highways, this car, the Mach-E, and I've owned it for about a month. On highways, it's got better self-driving than Ford does. Than Tesla does. On highways, just straight highway run, it's got better self-driving than Tesla does. You know why? You don't even have to hold the wheel. It's got like an iPhone or a Kinect camera looking at you, and that's what authenticates that you're watching the road. They put a lot of the high tech. Here we go. Ford Blue Cruise here. A lot of the stuff that Tesla has that people that are buying Teslas want, have it. No hands, more thrill, transform, simple drive and joyride. Ford Blue Cruise allows you to operate the vehicle hands-free. So you can actually operate it hands-free, driver-facing camera to make sure you're keeping your eyes on the road. But it only works on roads they've mapped, and they've mapped 130,000 miles in North America. Co-pilot, stay confident, that's just their safety features. Connected tech. Hey, look, if I were to get a Tesla, I can't have the CarPlay, I can't have the Android Auto, I can't have my phone on the screen remotely. Yes, it doesn't have stupid fart apps. When I sit down, it doesn't make a fart noise. Okay. I can't change my horn sound. The most advanced thing that's there from a Teslafication standpoint is a Doodle app. But one of the nice things, I will tell you, something that the Mach-E allows, just like the Tesla, how you have phone as key. I've not been carrying a key for the past few weeks now that I'm comfortable with phone as key. And one of the coolest things that they offer is you don't actually need the phone as key. You can type a password into the car to actually drive the car if your phone's dead or you don't have your phone or anything like that. But if you're looking at inventory, you'll see inventory is relatively bleak. We'll just, I'm putting an inventory for Aventura, Florida. This is where the Aventura Mall is. So let's just search inventory. Okay. Yes. Just to see kind of what's available here, because Teslas are kind of hard to find too. Okay, so we've got a couple. And we're looking in the $52,000, $48,000 range. So you got a couple that are right there, just arrived, stuff like that. Not many. And if the same thing, if we go to Tesla.com, and we're going to look at financials and options in a minute. But we'll look in the same area for menu. We'll go with existing inventory. We're looking at new vehicles. You'll see for Teslas, that's a Model 3. Model S, so you can get some. Wow, you can actually get a Model S Plaid. It's only $152,000. Good Lord. I guess Tesla's having trouble selling the $152,000 cars in the South Florida market. Model X, nothing. Model Y, nothing. So the closest competitor that Ford likes to say is to a Model Y, but I think it's kind of between a Model X and a Model Y, which you can see Tesla has nothing within 200 miles of the South Florida area. So, this is a car that seemingly you can get, and I was able to get it without having a pre-order. I was able to actually get it for a reasonably good price, and I think this is the beginning of Ford's EV revolution. And I'll give you an idea. Let me kind of open up the Ford app, and I'll give you an idea. Oh, mysterious ghost fell down. But if I open up the Ford app, let me make sure there's nothing crazy personal showing. Okay, cool. So, if I go over to my phone, you'll see here's the Mach-E. I've got 317 miles of range. That pretty much matches anything Tesla has. 100% charge level. I can view chargers. I can see the details of the charging. So I could see, you know, it's been charging for 20 hours and 42 minutes at 143 miles, 38 kilowatt hours of energy, and, you know, the charge type was basic. And I could put those things in, but if I wanted to go ahead and take a look, just so I could see kind of like the history of this, I can go over to my charge point, go to charging activity, go, and like this is the actual charge, so you can see what's going on. Now, if you haven't seen the video on ChargePoint and the options on ChargePoint, you can go take a look over at the options on ChargePoint. But here's the thing, from an EV perspective, I came from, my first EV, no joke, was this little guy right here. First EV I owned, and, you know, they call it a clown car for a reason. I'm a fat guy. If you've ever watched Fat Guy Eat Salad, I'm a big boy, and that's a little tiny car. But that'll give you a little idea. I think the closest thing to Teslas, and even just to show you kind of an innovative thing they've done with this, if you own a Tesla, or if you've ever rented a Tesla, or you know someone with a Tesla, or, you know, Tesla, you know, whenever you want to charge your Tesla, you actually have to back your Tesla in, because they put the charger in the back right-hand corner of the car. Well, Ford put the charger in the front left-hand corner of the car. Oh, I'll see if I can highlight it right there. So you don't have to back into the spot. That's something nice. Now, I will tell you, this car was designed by a lot of the people who designed the Tesla Model 3, the Tesla Model Y, all those other devices like that. This car was designed by the people who designed that car. There's a reason that all that works, but I also do like, unlike a Tesla, you know, Ford has the patents on putting the numbers in the door right here, so you can get in without needing a key or anything like that. Yes, I know, and I do. You can use your phone. You can use anything of that sort to do that. But I think what's interesting is also, from a Ford perspective, Ford is the only EV manufacturer, not the EV manufacturer, Ford's the only auto manufacturer to never take a government bailout. So, you know, what I want to look at now is, let's look at the Ford financial reports for 2021, and then we're going to talk about some options. So, Ford Motor Company, financials and filings. Earnings transcript. Earnings press release, SEC filing, earnings webcast, earnings slides. Here we go. So, we've got the full year 2021 earnings review. This was issued February 3rd. So this was issued about 5-6 weeks ago. Ford gets their stuff out relatively quick, but this is similar to if we're looking at an IPO or looking at any investment, we want to look at the S1. So Ford has made 40 million F-Series trucks. The Ford F-150, 250, 350, Raptor, Maverick, Bronco, anything that they consider a truck, is the #1 selling vehicle in America. You know, and they're going to electrify that. It may take some time to pick up, but they're going to electrify it. And I will tell you, I will happily, when they make an electric truck, I will happily trade that in for a truck. I love this, but the truck is so much more powerful. So, you know, I will happily trade that in for a truck. But they're going to look at forward-looking statements. Again, we're taking a look at some base model presentations here. Iconic nameplates, so they're talking about the customer experience. I will tell you, I did have to bring this in for service. There was a time when I went with a friend to bring something in for Tesla service. I will tell you, Ford service was faster, more knowledgeable, less of a zoo, and I liked the Ford service experience better than the Tesla service experience. One tomato, I'm not talking about a full life there, but, you know, having the credit, having all that connectivity, you know, they have what Tesla has already. And, you know, what you haven't heard of yet, and I think that's interesting, Ford has self-driving stuff, and Ford's self-driving stuff doesn't get in the news for killing people. Now, I don't know if that's because there's not enough of them, or because people aren't doing stupid things, or people aren't trusting it, because Ford is at first a car company and at second a technology company. Tesla is at first a technology company and at second a car company. Fight me on that, but that's how I feel. But we're looking at these documents here, you know, integrated hardware and software. That's actually the Mach-e dashboard. What's interesting is, unlike a Model 3 or a Model Y, the Mach-e actually has a real dashboard, the Mustang. And it's designed to directly compete with 3 and Y, but I really think it's of the S quality and build quality. And again, I'm not putting anyone down. I'm a full Tesla believer, Tesla shareholder, but I think Ford made a better car than Tesla did. You know, at some point in the future, I may actually do a full car review, because I think that's interesting, because it's different. You know, direct to customer. Ooh. Well, that's interesting. Look at that. That's a big middle finger to dealerships in China. Do you think they're not going to follow that in the US? They literally admitted that they did a direct-to-customer in China for Mustang Mach-E online through 25 select Ford City stores. That means no dealers. That's where this is going. If you can't see this, Ford is lying to their dealers. I'm going to come back to this, but let me show you Ford dealers. Let me see if I can find that article, because I always like to show. So there's two things about Ford dealers. Ford dealers are marking up prices on electric cars because they know people want them, and they can. They're marking them up to $10,000 above MSRP. You know, I will tell you, I had to pay a little bit more for my Mustang Mach-E because of the dealer. So let me see if I can find this news article. Withholding allocation. You know, Ford threatens dealers that are jacking up car prices. But something I read, which might take me a minute to find. Ford dealers direct to. If I can't find it, I will post the link below. Okay. Specialization everywhere. Ford's EV approach is not all major auto dealers. Okay. So what the article said, and I'm not finding it right now, so I'll just kind of reiterate, and it will be in the comments below, is it said that the Ford dealers, the description below, these Ford dealers are not happy. Because, I mean, obviously, if you look at this right here, you know, you look at this, we're beginning to understand how much more reorganization. So Ford is going to do some reorganization, put EVs under a different pile than everything else. Those are the more profitable things in the future. And in China, they did a direct-to-customer model. So cuts out the dealers. I'm cool with that because buying from a dealer is a pain in the butt. So executing investments. So these were their 2021 highlights. Disruptive technology allows them to leverage their strengths and build new capabilities. Like I said, from an EV standpoint, the best electric vehicle I've ever driven is the one I own right now. I've driven an S, I've driven an X, I've driven everything but a Model S Plaid because I can't get my hands on a Model S Plaid to drive it. But they want to own at least 40% of the global BEV market by 2030. They own like less than 1% of the global BEV market right now, and a large percentage of the global BEV, which is a battery electric vehicle. A lot of people don't know that you have battery electric vehicles that use batteries, and then also HEVs are actually hydrogen electric vehicles. So an electric vehicle can be powered by different things. You can have an SEV, which is a solar electric vehicle, which we looked at a car... Sono Group, if you remember. We talked about this company that does SEVs, which is the Sono Group. Let me see if I can find them. Yeah, it's gone up a little bit. But at some point, you know, we looked at the Sono Group there. But, you know, you've got all these different things. So you've got announced for at least 40% BEV, announcement plan for 240 gigawatt hour global battery capacity. In a decade, they have the F-150 Lightning, increasing the size of the vehicle center for building it. Blue Oval. So Blue Oval is their charging network, which also includes a bit of charge point here. So kind of, if you haven't watched the charge point video and you're watching the Ford video first, watch the charge point video. But it includes a little bit of charge point, includes a little bit of Electrify America. Kind of really quite interesting because they got to build out a charging network if people are going to have these cars. And I don't think it's going to be Ford branded. There's going to be the Blue Oval network, which contains other networks. Broke ground on electrification center in Turkey. Not JV, I was like Turkey. So they're building electric cars in Turkey. Battery recycling. Fourth quarter results. Hey, look, they made money. They made money. They have margin. They made money. Well, crap. Okay. I'll take it. Full year. They made money. That is actually the Mustang GT edition. That's the fast version of the Mustang that brings your insurance premiums up. So I didn't get those. So yeah, I mean, we'll check in Robinhood because I do like Robinhood for checking these things. You know, their cash balance has gone up, especially in Q4. They've got some Rivian stock that went up in value from when they had originally bought it. So those of you who don't know, Ford partially owns Rivian, which I think will really help Rivian create a better vehicle down the road. Rivian is kind of an interesting little animal that's a combination of itself, Ford, and Amazon. Weird. It's used for another video, but 10-second sidebar. I think that eventually Ford will buy Rivian, Rivian will become Ford, and Rivian will kind of replace the Ford brand in the pickup truck side because Rivian's got the tech, and eventually people will like the tech, just like what's happening with Tesla. Sidebar. Okay, done. You know, they made money. Free cash flow. Q4 results. Net income. Look at that. Okay, I'll take it. They made money. It's a green-ass stock. Full year. All this is going to be linked below if you want to look at this full document. But overall, hey, looks pretty good. You know, they make money on the financing as well. They do the financing themselves. Cash flow and balance sheet. Special items. Okay, so this is their 2022 outlook. So they're looking to make a lot more money this upcoming year than they were on the last time. And you can see that's actually global redesign cash effects, perspectives, full year wholesales up 10 to 15%, product portfolio, you know, you're adding the Mustang Mach-E, the electric Transit, and the F-150 Lightning. Essentially, what you're doing is you're buying a company inside of a company. Ford doesn't want to admit this, but when you buy Ford stock, you're buying the new company inside of the company, and you're going to have to support the legacy business for a while, because people don't want to get rid of their gas cars. They don't believe in electric vehicles. I'll tell you, no one else in my family likes EVs other than me. I own 2 EVs. But they bitch and moan about gas prices. I haven't looked at a gas station in a while. But, you know, that's the idea. You know, Ford plus priorities, relentless execution, customer-facing technology, connectivity, electrification. Okay. Production capacity for battery supplies. You know, they're not talking about anything to do with traditional cars anymore. This is electric. You know, higher profits in North America, outside North America, collectively profitable for benefits of the global redesign. Ford credit was strong, but profits lower than 2021. So they're saying they're not going to be able to make as much profit in credit. And why they're not is because they have to offer good credit financing and interest rates are going up. So they can't borrow with money as easily as they used to be able to borrow money. But I think accelerating electrification, F-150 Lightning, E-Transit, which is what they use to deliver those Amazon packages to your door. Not the big Amazon trucks, but the Amazon Flex drivers, if you know Amazon. And they're doing that. Oh, wow, they're doing that in Turkey. So that is at the Rogue EV Center in the U.S. I do still believe that the Ford F-150 Lightning is vaporware. None of them have shipped. Mach-E assembly. So they're accelerating how fast they can make the Mach-E's, and they've got a whole electric center and a huge battery plant. This is kind of like Gigafactory, but built in the past. So there is that's the SK battery plant in the USA, and growing Ford Pro, growing their fleet vehicles. A lot of those fleet vehicles, you know what they're going to be? They're going to be electric. Okay, cautionary note on forward-looking statements. Again, links are below for you, but now it's time to take a look at how the stock's done recently and what we may be able to do with options. So, let's jump to my bad boy, little Mr. Robin Hood right here. Again, my favorite place to get options. And I don't have Tesla options. I have Tesla shares. But I've been buying some Ford call options. And I've not been buying in the money. Well, to be perfectly honest, these were in the money options. They were in the money options. And we went out of the money. Because when this report that we just looked at came out, there was a lot of enthusiasm and everything like that. And then the chip shortage goes on. So the chip shortage goes on, and Ford's saying they're not going to be able to make as many trucks and everything like that. You know, that whole report came out, nice rainbows and butterflies. And if we look at the stock, you can kind of see the rainbows and butterflies. There was a nice little peak right here of like $24.38, right when that came out at the end of January. Or mid-January, you know, when they said they were spinning off and all that. And I will tell you, I rode those options real well. I had some $25 Ford options for 2024, which I sold at that point. So options, one of the most important things about options, I'm going to break down options. And again, look in the other video if you want to know about charge point options. But one of the things about options is they are a moving animal. It is not the Ronco rotisserie oven of stocks like Tesla is. If you're not familiar with that, the Ronco rotisserie oven is you set it and forget it. You're not doing that. It's not the Ronco rotisserie oven of stocks. Ford options, you watch every single day. You know, you watch the Ford stock. I mean, that's in the last year. You can see that Ford stock's gone up, Ford stock's gone down, Ford stock's gone sideways, waiting for the screen to catch up. So you can see in the last year, you know, but it's generally trended up. And that peak was when they started announcing all these electrification plans and saying that they're going to ship direct to the customer and then denying that they're going to ship direct to the customer. You know why? Because it angered their dealer network. We don't want to anger the dealers yet. Anger their dealer network. But, so you can look, Ford stock's done pretty well. But what I want to look at is not Ford stock, but Ford options. Now, I will tell you, when I was buying these options, Ford was up at about $23. So they were in the money options when I was buying them. And what's interesting is they're actually, if you've watched the ChargePoint video already, or you haven't watched the ChargePoint video yet, they're actually markedly cheaper than ChargePoint options. So I like to buy my options well out in the future. So I've got options purchased for 2024. Again, this is the static of the options I have for this specific day and point in time, which is Thursday, March 9th at 1:26 a.m. I can't do anything with options for at least another 8 hours and 4 minutes. But, because you can only trade options from 9:30 to 4. But what an option gives you is it gives you leverage. Let's say you wanted to buy 100 Ford shares. You can buy those 100 Ford shares right now, well, in a few hours when the market opens, for $16.63 a share. You could buy 100 shares, so just add some zeros to the end and you're good. You can buy a Ford option for $2.24 a share. Now, what that option allows you to do is the option allows you to purchase the shares at a locked-in price on a certain date. Again, we're not going to go fully over options, but I want to kind of give you the baseline. So I own Ford $22 calls for January of 2024, so slightly less than 2 years in the future. And I am betting that the price of Ford will be above $22 a share on January 19th of 2024. And I must buy that in 100 share increments, so I have to spend $224 to buy one of those, but it gives me control over a large number of options. Your money goes a lot further than if you were to be buying actual shares right there. Now, in all honesty, recently, that's down. You could see I'm sitting down about $3,500. But I'll tell you, when that spike happened and I owned those $22 options, I made $8, $10, $12, $20,000 like that on those options. Options, you don't sit on your hands. You have to actively participate, actively watch what's going on, and everything like that. So right now, I own the option, the ability to buy 4,800 Ford shares at $22, and that cost me $2.24 a share. So my break even, for every dollar that Ford is above, $25, to make it simple, it says $24.97, but every dollar that Ford is above $25 on 1/19/2024, I will collect $4,800 in profit. And it only costs me, we'll add the negative there, it cost me about $15,000 to do that. You don't have to do it with $15,000. You can get in right now for as little as $225. You could buy one option, which for $225 gives you control of 100 shares of Ford. Now, there's a timeline on it, so you're betting they're going to get this done in the next year and 3/4-ish. So you have a timeline on it. So it's not like owning shares you can hold on to forever. But the idea of options is you're paying for time. So you can buy for shorter time frames. You can buy for different time periods. Just to give you an idea, if I go trade, and I'll go buy. Actually, let's view all options. So a call, you're betting that a stock's going to go up. So let's just say if I wanted to buy a $17 call, not for January 24, but for, let's say, I think that Ford's going to go up by June. I can buy a $17 call for significantly less money than that $2.28. I can buy that $17 call for $1.24. It'll catch up in a second and you'll see the airplay is a little wonky, but you can buy these calls. It's you're buying time. That's the important thing. So when you're buying call options, you're buying time. So I personally really like anything that would essentially be in the money. I've already bought in, but if I wanted to buy some more, a $15 call, meaning you would make money if it's above $15, a $15 call, which would be anything above $20, which we're getting near, a $15 call for 2024 would cost you, I'll just do it right now. Again, I can't actually buy it because the market's not open right now, but it would cost you $465 because you're buying an in-the-money call. So I want to buy an in-the-money call, I've got that options order queued right there just to give you an idea. Or if I wanted to buy an out-of-the-money call, probably going to cancel these after the video, so don't kill me here. I don't want to roll the position right now. So if I buy, view all options, let's buy, say, a $30 call. If I wanted to buy that, it would cost me $100. I want to break down what this means. It would cost me $107 to actually to bet that I would get to keep anything that Ford was above $30 a share. And yes, if they do a split, if they do something funky, this gets adjusted. This is all based on market cap, not really share price. So, if you're buying Tesla options, what's Tesla options? Pretty penny on Tesla options you're going to spend, because a lot of people want them. These are the deeper, darker parts of the options world. People aren't really messing with Ford and ChargePoint as much as they are with Tesla. But if I wanted to buy, so it cost me $100 for the ability to buy 100 shares at $31, let's say, on the, so anything that's above $31 is costing me that $100 to buy it, so $1.07 a share, and I can hit review, and that's on 2024. So the whole idea of options is it gives you a huge amount of leverage to be able to actually purchase those shares. And your money goes a lot further in the options world than it does in the normal world. Is it a lot riskier? Yeah. But if you understand where these companies are headed, both Ford or ChargePoint, again, both of these videos dropped at the same time, so if you haven't seen ChargePoint, go check ChargePoint. You're watching Ford right now, so it'll give you an idea on Ford. Interesting options and an interesting way to play this Tesla split that's coming up. If you do have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments below, and I will be happy to answer them. I know it's weird to drop two at the same time, but I wanted to do this in one video, and I said, some people might be interested in one. Some people might be interested in another. Some people might be interested in both. And I've shot the ChargePoint one before this one, but if you haven't watched that, go watch that, because I think Ford and ChargePoint are your best 2024 options right now in the EV space. Again, if you got any questions, drop them below. My name's Richard. I'm the creator of No Pants Profits, because I sit here all day. I wear no pants, and as of the end of March, we're finally back to about a profitable week in the market. So we had a good week, and I think it's time to start talking about stocks again instead of crypto. And remember, when you're trading stocks, crypto, options, and you're wearing no pants, the only thing you got left to lose is your shirt. This is Richard. Have a great one. See you around. Bye.